Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome back to tonight's session of Ask Zak, as usual on a Tuesday evening at 6. Tonight we've got a very important subject to talk about, and that is, how does the animal's feeding requirements change over seasons? Now that is very important because we're sitting in the middle of it. We're starting to feel the effects, see the effects of the changing season when we go out on our farms. So first of all, we need to identify what changes. The first thing that's going to change now in this time that we're going in is, of course, the temperatures. The temperatures are going to go lower. When you walk out in the mornings, instead of going out in a short sleeve, you're going to put on a jacket. Now, of course, temperature can have an effect on one of our farming systems that we will touch on just now. The next change that we see is, of course, the veld. Now, what we see with the veld is the changing color. It used to be very bright green, very luscious. The animals love to eat it, but now we start seeing that brown tinge. It's starting to dry out. And what happens there is, of course, the plant is starting to draw its nutrient value into its roots to store over the winter months. So your nutritional value is, of course, going to fall within within your grass that's out there for your animals. So now, how does this affect our animals is our next question. Now, first, when we look at our intensive farming, our poultry, our pigs, and of course our layers, very important there, you're going to feel the change in temperature the most. Your animals aren't out grazing, but that falling temperature is going to cause the animal to want to stay warm. Now, if you cannot keep your temperatures inside your chicken house or your piggery at a constant temperature, your animal is going to start burning energy, of course, to stay warm. And what happens when they burn energy? They start to use more resources. They're going to take care of more of themselves before they take care of production. So temperature is going to have a big influence on you. And when it comes to our extensive farmers, our cattle and sheep and goat farmers, remember, now that we just mentioned it, our nutritional value in the veld is falling. And of course, your animal is not getting in what it needs to. It doesn't get in enough protein, enough minerals, vitamins, and all those things that we associate with summer month grazing. So it's easy to address these problems or challenges that you might face. First of all, when we talk about our poultry and our piggery farmers, we try as much as possible to keep our temperatures as constant as we can. But if we can't, we need to take into account that animal is going to burn energy to stay warm. So we are going to have to push up their feed intake by a bit, between 5 and 10%, just to give them that additional energy, that additional nutrients to take care of their bodies and keep on producing. But just remember, if your temperatures fall very low, no amount of feeding or additional feeding that you can give the animal is going to help, because that animal his body is experiencing shock more than anything else. So just try and manage your temperatures as well as you can with your curtains and with your red lights. Our poultry, especially fully grown poultry, loves 24 degrees Celsius. So the more we can keep them constantly there, the better their production is going to be. Now, when it comes to our veld animals, our cattle, sheep, and goats, we are looking at changing over our feeding. So we're going to give them a different type of feed or a different type of lick. Now, what we're looking for is, of course, a lick or a feed that contains urea. Now, urea is a synthetic protein source. So what urea does inside the animal is it takes care of that intestinal bacteria that works inside to keep the animal healthy and break down its food. It helps the animal to break down that hard cellulose material. We know that grass is very dry, it's not very tasty. So the animal's gut needs to work harder to break it down. And that's where urea comes in. It helps to break it down, and of course it releases additional protein. We said protein values are going to fall a lot now, so we need that additional protein in our animals' diets. So that is the basic summary of what we wanted to touch on. So temperatures are going to fall, our field is going to change. We need to address those changes for our animals to ensure good production. So until next week, same time, same place, have a good evening.